Hi everybody, I hope that you're all doing well. We're here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is the Death card. And we also have the Emperor. Okay. So having these two energies here, when we start with the Death card, it indicates us going through a time of transition. And I see the Emperor as sort of giving context here for the best way for us to be doing that. The mindset of the Emperor is going to be taking this transition in stride. And what that means too is that there can be an evolving or ever-changing role that you play as well. That can be part of this too. All of this, keep in mind that this is going on so that things can feel like there's a sense of balance and equilibrium that wasn't necessarily there before. And so that is a reason for this going on. So coming back to what's happening here. When we have Scorpio, when we have the Death card, which represents Scorpio, it can be external change that we experience, but beyond that, or maybe before that, the change that happens is internal, actually. Scorpio rules psychology. Scorpio is about what's going on within your mind, what's going on emotionally, how you're interpreting that, how you're seeing things. So basically, as you're going through a moment in time right now where there is psychological evolving that's happening, it means that what it means for you to be the Emperor is changing as well. The Emperor is the part of you that feels like, whether you mean to or not, it's the legacy that you leave. It's what you're doing with your life. And so because of you going through this change right now psychologically, it can mean that you're going to be taking action differently, or you're going to be perceiving your role differently than you were before. And it doesn't need to be a total and absolute change, although it can be. It can be more so like, I didn't realize this was part of my path and now I'm seeing that as part of my path. Or it can be connected like less with roles and more with your outlook, more with the framework that you're using, where you feel like, oh, I see that I actually am responsible for this, when before I wasn't taking accountability for that because I didn't realize that that's also something that I govern as well. And so there can be a change that happens because of that too, where the things that we feel we're responsible for can change, our disciplines can change as well. So I see this as being I'm going through some type of transition right now. Internal transition can also be external transition as well. The way that I perceive myself, the role that I play as I move through this, what I'm supposed to do, how I take action, what is my role, job throughout all of this. And from a place of, I think even like self-awareness and self-perception of what your duty is given where you're standing. And it also speaks about going through something with a sense of, going through the change with a sense of determination, with a sense of willpower, with a sense of groundedness as well. Thinking things through, thinking clearly, making sure that we're aware of what's motivating us when we're taking action, making sure that we are being truthful, honest with what we're doing and what we're speaking out, fact-checking ourselves even. And then also, who else do we have here? It would be managing yourself, managing the experience that you're having, regardless of what's going on around you, knowing that like that's not so much what you have control over, what this person is doing, what that person is doing, but what you are able to govern, what you do have control over is how you're choosing to respond to that, how you're interpreting things even. This can cover many different areas of your life. The Emperor can also be, having death in Emperor can be this this like really grand change that you're going through, where you can feel like you're stepping more into your purpose, even as the Emperor can be connected with our legacy. The Emperor is Aries. Aries is self. So there can be just stuff about you and your personal journey that you're coming to realize, that you're coming to see as important, that you're even feeling a sense of joy and vigor and energy and life force, feeling like you have a sense of purpose and that you're connected with it. Some of you, I'm seeing healing be involved with this. Having the sun come out here, this is a joyful thing. When you have something presently that you want to live for, it can really encourage you to want to be present to what's going on, rather than living in the past or keeping something that you feel is just redundant at this point, or that it's not like serving the purpose that it needs to serve. So it can be a time where you're looking around, and rather than keep things that deplete your cup rather than fill it, it can be a time when you're looking those things over. And also too, where actively, more than anything, there is an internal search with what resonates with you when you have that thought, when you have that feeling, when something passes you by. Asking yourself sort of how you orient yourself in relation to that. Am I feeling like I'm called to move in a direction of something? Is there something here that I want to be pursuing? Am I following my heart? Am I following the call of my heart? Or am I following something else? I also feel like this is self-knowledge too that's happening with death and the Emperor. It feels like stepping into an area of your life, a time within your life when you are developing yourself as the Emperor, which is you within your individuality. And feeling a sense of passion and life force because of doing that, which also gives context to the things that are out of alignment as well. The things that are no longer fulfilling, and mindfully noticing. And also what is, or what might be. Five of Wands just fell off completely, and we also have Temperance here as well. Okay, so going through a time of transformation and evolving, there's stuff that has to be worked out. So it's not... This feels like not everything is going to feel super clear cut. There are going to be things that must be worked out in order for us to step into the position that we are destined to step into. This is something that takes time. You don't need to be rushing the process. It's happening in due time. Everything that needs to come to light will. You don't need to worry about that. Know too that when conflict comes up, that's also part of the path as well. It's not something that's not supposed to be there. That's part of the transformation. So all these little things that are coming up, or big things that are coming up that are calling your attention to work them out, that's also part of this process as well. And it's just clarifying things for you, what you're doing. It feels like it's making your position and like even what you're meant to be doing just more and more obvious. And as you move through this process, like everything comes to light and it does become abundantly clear. Exactly. We have the Sun and we have the King of Pentacles here. I get this feeling like, so you're going through a change right now. And there can be a lot of different stuff that's coming up. Am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be doing that? Like, what are these roles that I'm supposed to be playing? I feel like not everything is obvious to me. Like, you're working through that process where I'm seeing everything is going to come to light. So you don't need to go through this with a fear of you're not going to figure things out. You're going to figure everything out. Everything is going to make sense to you. This is the process of weeding out what's actually relevant versus what are these like thoughts that I had, or this person that told me that's what I'm supposed to be doing, or like this person expected me to do that. It's basically like weeding all of these things out. Or even like as a child, this is what I wanted to be doing because I saw this on TV, and then you end up feeling like realistically I don't actually want to be doing that, or that doesn't actually, I don't feel happy within this. Or then we step into positions and then we feel around and get to a point where we feel like maybe took a wrong turn back there, and then backtracking a little bit. So as you're going through this, it feels like an ever evolving, this is the role you play, now this is the role you play, now this adds on to that, now we're not going to be doing this anymore, now we need you over here. It feels like this type of thing that's happening. So it's like a rolling role that you're playing. And as you're evolving, as you are growing even spiritually, what you're learning, what you're understanding, what you're shedding, what you're remembering, ultimately, it just clarifies what you do. So it doesn't mean at any given time that you're in the wrong space or anything like that. And when you're feeling conflict, that can be a time where something needs to be addressed, where something needs to be sorted out. But I'm seeing everything get sorted out. Like, those clouds don't stay. The clouds can't hide the sun forever, and so everything is going to be exposed. You are going to feel like there's clarity, like it's not going to feel like this never ending, like, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? Is this the right thing? Am I supposed to choose that? Instead, like, things are going to continuously clarify themselves. But it feels like, don't make the mistake of thinking that you're just going to sit here and feel like it's so obvious and you have everything figured out. You kind of have moments of that, but you're not going to know totally and completely. I feel like it's unrealistic to go into it with this expectation of everything is just going to make sense all at once, because it's something that's ever evolving and changing. And as you move along, like, things do become more clear. This is about, it's not just about you doing this one thing and that's the only thing that you're meant to be doing and this is your only legacy. The legacy is like every step on the path. It's like the whole thing that adds up to that. It's not just this one point in time. And every conflict that comes up is meant to direct you if you're working that out properly, if you're addressing it. So you don't need to be stressing about this, and you don't need to be worrying about it either, unless you want to. Whether you be the one that's making the choice to whether you be removed from something or you remove yourself from something, or whether you are the one that you're listening to your heart and then you're stepping that way, or something is picking you up and putting you on that path, I'm seeing you move towards the 10 of Cups, which feels like a great place to really aim your focus. Simultaneously, there can definitely be a difficulty here. When we have 3 of Swords be connected with 8 of Cups, basically we're purging the sense of attachment that we have to things that are other than they actually are. So like, I wanted to be here, I wanted to be doing that, or I wanted this to work like that, but that's not what it is in reality. The 3 of Swords is basically the clearing out of those things, but it can be painful. It's basically you separating from those attachments that are not aligned with truth. I'm speaking about attachment solely and specifically in the context of being attached to something, having an attachment to something that is not the truth. And that being where the pain, that being where the suffering comes from. Of, I'm looking at this Eight of Cups, which is a recognition that some things don't cut it anymore. Some things are not in alignment anymore. And all of the hang-ups that we have about that because of our expectations or what we wanted, the attachments that we're going to experience as we're moving towards, as we're pursuing our pursuit of happiness, as we're moving in the direction of what calls to us and pursuing that path. And so now can be a time of reflection of, I mean, having Eight of Cups, having Hermit, if there are any roles that you're playing right now that you are doing for a reason other than that being your truth and other than that being what your heart is involved in, it can be a time when you look and you reevaluate. But it can feel very difficult as well, depending on how many like hang-ups and attachments you have involved with this. But basically, like, this is when you're keeping things around, when you're continuously participating in things, those roles that we play that are not coming from the heart space, that are not our truth, those are the things that conflict with us feeling fulfilled. Those are the things that block that feeling of, oh, I feel a sense of calmness and peace and centeredness and confidence that this is where I'm meant to be. Those are the things that block those feelings when we're doing stuff that doesn't align with our path for whatever reason we do it for. And this being the clarifying process that allows you to lead a heart motivated path, a truth motivated path with what's genuinely resonating with you and what's not. But there can also be a lot of when you're not going to be doing some things that you were doing before, there can be that separation that ends up happening as we're pulling away from what is no longer, or maybe never was, us, and stepping into our authenticity. There's that stuff that has to be worked out within that. Because this is the stuff that will keep you from being where you're supposed to be. And when I say supposed to, I mean that feeling of, oh, this is my purpose and this is what I'm meant to be doing. And I know that because of the way that it feels, that things just click into place. All the stuff that is other than that are the things that will conflict with that feeling. You feeling like you're where you're meant to be. Regardless of how grand or whatever expectations can be for you to stay somewhere, this is about living in your truth, and it's about being heart-led, soul-led. Because if you're making choices where there is not that consideration of what's going on for you in your heart space, it's no surprise to look around and be like, I don't feel happy here. And it's because there hasn't been that consulting of the heart. And when we have us starting with the Death card here, Death card, and then we have Hermit on, start with the Death card, end with Hermit. This feels like a really big psychological transformation that you're going through, where things are becoming like ready for you to see these things and ready for there to be revelation about these things, about like what you'll actually feel a sense of motivation and life force to be doing because that's what's aligned versus you doing something for another reason. And all of these things are being checked right now. It's like all of the stuff that is not part of your path is becoming very obvious if this is something that you choose to confront. And that this can be a change for the best within your life. And that's what's currently being worked on. That's what's currently being worked out. Allowing all of this stuff that's not part of your truth, not part of your soul mission to fall away by pursuing what is. Here we have Virgo, we have Scorpio, Aries, and Sagittarius. I'm seeing Libra on the bottom of the deck, and we also have the Sun here. All right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.